Welcome to the A2theK Wrestling Show and to our SummerSlam results and reactions. Interesting show. Lots of stuff happened. Let's just dive right in. So we'll keep the same format we would do for this week in wrestling. We'll do some highlights, do some most-shites, and then we'll wrap it up with what we thought about the whole, total package.
The whole goddamn show.
The whole effing show. So kicking off with highlights numero uno was, of course, Edge versus Seth Rollins. This was excellent. This was, absolutely delivered. When Edge first came back, me and Anthony had said, an ideal opponent was going to be Seth Rollins. We really hope we see it happen. And they made it happen.
We did.
Obviously, some of the build-up, questionable. The actual execution of the match, fucking fantastic. Anyone who is a fan of old school, in-ring psychology and kind of storytelling and stuff like that, these two absolutely brought that. I think everything, the kind of nuances from Rollins obviously working Edge's neck, as much as I'm not a fan of the whole Brood kind of tie-in and callback and stuff, even his entrance and stuff, I wasn't a fan.
The flames? No, not a fan.
Not a fan. But
you
obviously,
think you know him.
This is WWE's way of going, well, we need. It basically, his crux is he's going to be trying to find some darkness inside himself to bring it out. So how can we, convey that to the audience? I know. Let's, remind people he was part of the, the occult once. Start doing a load of fucking Brood shit. So, bit on the nose, isn't it? It wasn't needed, but,
bit broody, wasn't he? Bit broody.
He was a bit of a broody bastard. But yeah, obviously, I like the fact that he did start to find that darkness within himself, absolutely showed some viciousness throughout the contest, banging bloody Rollins' head off the mat several times, stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know. I think all in all, the match itself really, truly delivered. It was my match of the night. And yeah, I just thought it was really good. And I think there's going to be still more to come, the way it ended and stuff like that. I don't think it's, definitive. Well, that feud's over now. I think we might see this again.
Actually, yeah, I think, and I'm all for it, actually.
Well, yeah, if the match quality is anything, on part of this, then yeah, it's bring it on.
I'm just wondering, how far back is he going to send Edge? Brood didn't work. How far back are we going? Rob Zombie on the go.
What did he used to be called? He was called, what was he? Sutton Hardcastle or something?
Sexton Hardcastle?
Yeah, Sexton Hardcastle. So, yeah. Yeah, he's going to go back to that.
I'd actually go for that nostalgic pop. That would be funny as fuck.
I'd love it if they just brought someone out as well who was just a lot shorter than him and just played it off like it was Christian. Just for the shits and gigs. Just a guy in a white, fucking ruffled shirt. Yeah, it'd been great.
I like it. It wouldn't be the first time they've had an impersonator play a character either.
Fake
Diesel.
This is true. Yeah.
So that I would totally agree. That was match of the night for me as well. In all fairness, but another one that I think did deliver, and we'll talk about maybe the ending to it because I don't know how you feel about it. But another match that delivered for me was Roman Reigns versus John Cena.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think they put on a really good quality match together. I dare say it wasn't match of the night for me because I don't think. I don't know. I think, let's be honest, and this is no disrespect to Cena or Roman Reigns, because they're very well matched for each other. But technically in the ring, you got to give it to Rollins and Edge.
Oh God, yeah.
I don't think you can argue with that. So banger of a match, exactly what I wanted. Again, maybe slightly spoiled by the fact that we knew Cena. We knew Roman was going to win thanks to SmackDown, but you just never know what's going to happen with these things, which is why I mentioned the ending, Carl. So we saw a wild Brock Lesnar appear. How do you feel about that? Because on a level, I've been wanting this since Paul Heyman became the advocate for Roman. I've been wanting Brock Lesnar because that story writes itself. But at the same time, his entire run has been against part-timers.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? And I'm like, I don't know, I'm kind of ready for something different. But he just has people come back and go, I want to fight Roman Reigns. And then Roman Reigns beats them. And then that's that. And I'm like, is that what we're going to get again? I don't know. I'm all for it. I'm all for the Brock Roman thing because I've wanted it for a while. But I'm a bit worried about the amount of his entire Universal Championship run seems to just be taken on part-time legends.
Yeah.
The only negative I'll give it.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, obviously, to talk about it, probably our final highlight is just the fact that Brock did make his return, came in there looking like a fucking Viking. His new look that he's got, big beard and little top knot and everything, weird to behold. But the standout for me was Heyman. So his reaction to seeing this, looked like he saw a ghost. You know what I mean? Like he was there and he was just like, oh my god. Like it looked at one point like he was even crying. You know what I mean? It was like
he's so good at selling shit, isn't he?
He's fantastic. But it's like for him, if you were in Heyman's shoes, obviously, it didn't work out with Brock, and so he's now moved on to the tribal chief, and then all of a sudden Brock's come back.
His ex has rocked back up.
Exactly.
Into his life.
His ex is back there, and he still has feelings for him. And yeah, he's also thinking, well, either way, I'm going to get battered by one of these probably. So he's in a bit of a lose-lose situation because if he turns on Roman to realign with Brock, then Roman's going to be pissed. If he stays with Roman, then Brock's going to be like, well, thought we had something special. I grew this top knot for you. So
Heyman's going to go back to Brock and he's going to try and explain it to Roman. He's going to be like, oh, come on, he's changed. It's not the Brock that he was.
I knew you were always thinking about him. But yeah, I don't know. I think Heyman for me was the icing on the cake to kind of sell on this, because I think we've seen these guys before. They've had several matches together. Has Brock won one of that? I mean, I'm probably really stupid by saying this, but
I feel like he might have. Yeah.
So I can't really remember, to be honest, because it was a little bit of time ago.
I think I'm fairly confident if he won, he definitely made Roman.
Of course he won. That was the infamous one where Brock came to the back and launched the title belt at Vince's head. Remember that?
No.
At WrestleMania.
Regale me.
So yeah, at WrestleMania, I think that the planned finish or whatever was going to be to have Roman go over, but obviously all the fans turned on Roman, were booing the shit out of him. So I think they made a call on the fly to just let Brock retain. And then they even booed that finish as well. Like they just really weren't happy with it. So Brock kind of came back through Gorilla and just basically launched the title at Vince's head. He was sat there with his little headset on. And I think Vince, what did he shout? He said, just shouted something like, "You dickhead," or something like that. As you've got to, yeah, I can't believe you haven't seen that. You've got to look that up. But, yeah. So of course they have. We know Roman's beat Brock, and then obviously Brock has beat Roman. But I think we've never seen it in this dynamic. It's always been Roman the good guy and Brock the baddie with Heyman. And to have these roles, reversed, to see Lesnar as a face, like, is he going to have to be the one talking on the mic now?
Well, I guess so. But this is the right time because this is the best we've had Roman.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's a lot of people talking. It's like, I always liked Roman. It's like, why?
Yeah.
He was shit until recently. Let's not try and play that game. I liked him before he was cool. It's like, no, I didn't. I liked him when he come back and he was actually really good.
Yeah.
But this is the best of Roman, and Brock Lesnar, by all accounts, he's always a beast. So Brock Lesnar's going to come back and beat Brock Lesnar. So it's the right time for this feud.
Yeah, and I think how long's Roman at the belt now? Is it over a year? It feels like he's had it forever, hasn't he?
Yeah.
So
I want to say it's over a year.
So who's going to dethrone him? Because as you say, they keep bringing people back, part timers and stuff.
Well, I wonder if is it gonna be Brock, or is he gonna put Brock down as well, and then we try and give someone a push.
The only one who I can see who legitimately you'd look at and go, okay, he could beat him, and it better not be fucking Big E before we even talk about that one.
I'm not even entertaining that fucking idea. The only thing I'll go for, and he doesn't have to win, but I still need Roman versus Seth.
They've
been teasing. Still need it.
Yeah, to be fair, I'd like to see that one. I wouldn't know how it would work because you'd have to obviously turn Seth face again, wouldn't they? Which, I don't know, he's obviously much better as a heel as well. But I think the problem they've got is they've booked themselves into a corner with Drew because, if it was the Drew McIntyre that won the Royal Rumble and won the title by beating Brock Lesnar going up against heel Roman Reigns, not because it's believable, isn't it? Drew McIntyre is fucking built like a brick shithouse. He is a monster, and he's quite clearly you believe he can beat Roman, but the way they've booked him now,
I think I don't think the fans would go for it anymore, which is a
shame. Exactly. So they probably boo him if he won. So that's the trouble. So either Brock's going to be the one to take it off him, or if they don't, I genuinely do not know who could.
How would you feel? Let's say Brock took it off him. How would you feel about a Brock Big E connection? Do you think Brock could be the man to actually elevate Big E into a credible threat?
No, I think Big E's a joke. Is my honest opinion. I'm not a fan.
Then Brock could be the punchline.
No, I'm honestly not a fan. Like, I thought he was good when he was Big E Langston back on the day and stuff like that. I just don't get what he is, what he's about anymore. He's not part of the New Day, but he still goes around there acting. I just don't get him. He's not believable in the slightest. So until he fixes that, I'm just not a fan. But I think, and it's not looking likely the way that the booking's going at the minute. But as you said when you saw it at the Royal Rumble, Keith Lee. If Brock is back, that's Keith something Lee, that you wanted to see at one point in time.
I did want that, yeah. We've got Keith Lee back. Again, sadly, Keith Lee needs to build his momentum up now, doesn't he?
Well, yeah.
Because it'd just be like a booking out of nowhere at this point, so they need to build him back up, sadly. But it's understandably because of the situation. But there you go. But yeah, I'd definitely have that match.
Yeah, me too.
So it's all good things, to be fair. Like I say, I was a bit questionable on the amount of legends that the Roman's facing during his title run. But all in all, the match itself was great, and Brock Lesnar's return, great. So I think that's fair.
Yeah, I will completely concur with you on them points. But they are the only highlights we have for SummerSlam.
They are indeed. So if I may take the first, shite, Carl, if that's okay.
Go for it.
And I think we can both agree here. Alexa versus Eva Marie. What a load of bollocks this was. No, seriously. Like, the doll is way too involved in this shit, for starters, right?
Mm-hmm.
We had the bit where she's slapping the doll. And even that, like, they're not even keeping to their own storytelling because there's no repercussions for it. So, like, is it not powerful anymore then?
Well, like, exactly.
Yeah. And let's be honest, it's just Eva Marie. We already know what she's like in the ring. Like, this was, I wouldn't say one-sided might not be the right word, but like, she was never going to really be an actual threat to Bliss. We know Bliss can go in the ring. I know we don't see a great deal of it in ring action these days, but was this ever going to be a believably good match?
I can't believe they wasted a pay-per-view spot on this. And
what are they actually doing with Doudrop?
I honestly don't know. So, like, based on the way this like, even the whole gimmick's stupid. Like, when Eva Marie came back, she was there going, the winner of this match is Eva Marie, even if she wasn't in the fucking match, and it was like, right, that's weird. And then the bookend to this, like, little thing that they've got going on is Eva Marie loses and Doudrop gets on the microphone going, and the loser of this match is Eva Marie, and we're meant to be like, oh, like, and
it's like, do you not think, like, so Doudrop was, like, there with her, and now she's turned on her that quick? Like, am I even meant to be invested that she's gonna?
So, like, I mean, on Raw this past week, Eva Marie slapped Doudrop a couple of times in the face, and it was apparently showed us some tough love or some shit. But yeah, so I don't know, but I'm not invested. It's a shame because
I feel like they think they're telling the story, but they're just not cluing us into what the story is.
No, I'm baffled the fact that Eva Marie's even back, let alone in pay-per-view matches when she can't wrestle, and this exposed her.
I was ready to be surprised. I remember when there was speculation that she's coming back, that she'd been like, there was. Do you remember there was? I think it was a point that we mentioned in the news that there's been suggestions that she's been at the Performance Center and she's been working her ass off, and we might see a totally different Eva Marie. And I was ready. Yeah. And no, nothing. We got nothing.
Bullshit. Yeah, complete bullshit. Like, there's no way you can tell me she's spent any time, training since when we last saw her, because she's awful. She's so bad, and the fact is, why bring her back if she just doesn't care? They seem to be like infatuated with her, and I just don't understand it, because she can't talk, she can't wrestle, she can't really do anything. So what is it? Her look. It's like, well, fucking woohoo. Who gives a fuck? Like, shocking. Yeah, the whole thing's shocking, and
indeed.
It's a shame for Alexa Bliss, because she's still trying her best to give her all to this, and the character work and stuff. But yeah, it's got to the point now where they've literally booked themselves into a corner with it, because they made Lily super powerful and was able to do all these things, and even Alexa had powers. And it's like, now the fans are back, what can they do? They tried to do some weird thing where she winked, and it was like, right,
yeah, that was hokey as fuck.
Yeah, so it's like, it's dead at this point. I don't know how they're going to revive it. Either she's got powers or she doesn't, and if she doesn't, then what was all the stuff where she had powers in the first place, and why should anyone be scared of the doll? There's literally no repercussions for her. She was up there slapping shit out of the doll. Nothing happened. Alexa just got a bit mad.
Yeah.
So
it just doesn't work. It doesn't work without Bray, if we're being honest.
no, not in the
Like you say,
slightest.
it's not for the hard work she's putting in. It just doesn't work without Bray.
No. The next one's just me being a bit of a moaner, really. But I saw no point in Nakamura coming out for a musical interlude. Like, it was fucking stupid, to be honest. Everyone's like losing their minds on like Reddit and Twitter and stuff about Pat McAfee on there, fucking jamming away and stuff. And it's like, well, big deal. Like, what?
Honestly, right?
What was the point in it?
Unpopular opinion here, but Pat McAfee, he's the type of like. Do you ever meet them girls who go, "Oh, you don't want to go out partying with us? We're mad." Right, and then they're the ones who like get up on the table for 5 seconds and dance, and that's what they qualify as being mad.
Yeah,
he kind of reminds me of one of them, to be honest with you. Like,
yeah,
I'm crazy party animal, mate. Like, no, you're not.
But yeah,
I'm
like
attention seeking.
It just made no sense because it was pointless. It literally didn't have a semblance of a point. It was like Rick Boogs came out, introduced Nakamura, he came down, and then they got on top of the announce table and played a solo, and Nakamura like lay there, and then it just cut away, and then came back to another match, and it was like, what the fuck?
What was this?
In
fact, where is everyone from the IC title scene?
Well, that's what's so annoying about it. Like, if you're going to bring him out, stick a fucking 5-10 minute match on with Kevin Owens or fucking Sami Zayn or Apollo. Don't, come out and do that. If you've got time to feature him, just put a squash match in with somebody.
And the annoying thing? You know what the annoying thing is, right? I can tell you exactly where this is going to go. We're going to have this kind of bullshit, and then suddenly, out of nowhere, Rick Boogs is going to attack him.
Probably.
That's what's going to happen. Do I want a feud between them two? No. But that's what we're going to get. Mark my words. Mark them.
Consider them marked in red pen. So yeah, just a bit of a moan from me, really, but the whole thing seemed pointless, and it's like we just had however many minutes dedicated to fucking Lily and Eva Marie and all that shit, and it's like, well, you bring your IC champion out and have them just lie there on a table, and it was like, well, at least get, shorten the first match and get that, actually put a match in with someone and get more out of it, because the whole thing was just pointless.
I think this is more insulting than having the IC title defended on the pre-show.
Yeah.
This is more insulting.
I agree with that.
Yeah. So the next one, Carl. Again, a lot of people are trying to defend this shit. We saw Becky Lynch go up against Bianca Belair. So shock return from Becky Lynch out of nowhere, because we got surprises for SummerSlam. There's loads of surprises coming. We had 2 surprises. So Becky Lynch come back. Now, a lot of people have said they had to call this on the fly because Sasha Banks was unable to attend, and we know that they weren't able to attend some live shows due to unforeseen circumstances. So we still don't know the reason that Sasha Banks wasn't available. But anyway, Becky Lynch comes out. Bianca, I don't know. Like, what the fuck was this? Right. Let's talk about the absolute fucking insult to her first of all. So she agrees to put the title on the line. Against Becky Lynch with no notice. Becky Lynch totally fucks it up with one move, 23 seconds, and wins the fucking belt. Right, and what do we get? We get most of the internet community going, oh, you got to consider storytelling. You can't just be pissed off now. This is going to be... So basically, there's going to be a rematch. That's the storytelling. Wow. I beat you quickly, and then we're going to have a rematch, right? Rather than the fucking insult in the first place that she just totally ruined their fucking title run for the 23 second. Like, how did you, this isn't storytelling. You can't go, well, she didn't expect the match, she blindsided her, and she won, out of nowhere. It's like, no, this isn't out of nowhere. This is Bianca being booked as a fool. Because if you weren't prepared, why would you agree to it? No. Why would you be jumping up and down when Becky Lynch's music played? Why would you be excited about that? They booked her like she was naive as fuck. And I know they tried to go for that angle before with Bayley, but at the same time, it's like you've defended the championship a couple of times now. You've been a wrestler for a fucking long time. Are we really meant to believe that you're this green, that you're gonna fall victim to a 23 second fucking match? You couldn't put any defense or offense in, not even off the cuff, apparently. And this is storytelling. It's not fucking storytelling. This was a fucking burial. Fucking ridiculous.
Absolutely obliterated the last 6 months of what they built with Bianca Belair, right? They made her look like a fucking idiot. The music hits and she's there in the ring, jumping up and down, fangirling away. Becky Lynch is back, and it's like, you're the women's champion. You're
She's
not a
coming
fucking
down the ramp to
fan.
you, dickhead.
Exactly. And she's coming down there, and then it's like, okay, all pally, like, oh, I'll just let me take care of this one thing. Throws Carmella out because that was the original swerve. Because we're not getting Sasha, but you're gonna get Carmella. Well, exactly. That's how forgettable it was, right? But then Becky's just like, how about you put the title on the line against me now? And she's there, like, yeah, okay. And then literally, it's like, just made it look so fucking stupid. It was awful. Everyone's
this
like,
is Goldberg levels of
raving
entitlement
about
as
it.
well, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm back, so you're next. Like,
yeah.
Why? Why exactly? You deserve a title shot straight away. Okay. I'd have understood more, right? Because for some reason, people are forgetting that she was on Raw, right? But for some reason, she's come back and she's gone for Bianca Belair, right? Because there's no point going over to the Raw side of it and trying to get a belt back that she actually gave away. Because now that wouldn't be good storytelling, would it? Let's just have her ruin Bianca Belair's title running. Fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, it was awful.
And by the way, anyone who wants to call me for saying it's a burial, yes, I'm well aware she's not actually going to be buried from this. She's got plenty of time to build a career up and all this kind of bollocks. But this is insulting.
I honestly think it completely derailed any momentum she had. Like, everything she'd done up to this point.
Back up now.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it proved that, someone who hasn't been there for so many months is able to come back and beat you with one move. It wasn't like a complete surprise, roll up, that kind of thing, you got me. It was literally, she made her look stupid. She went to shake her hand, punched her, hit her with a fucking, I don't even know what she calls it, basically a fucking rock bottom, but something to do with the man or something. And then, just pins her, 1, 2, 3 straight away. And it's like, wow. This was done to create a SummerSlam moment, like you have them WrestleMania moments. And it was stupid.
In their heads,
the wrong decision.
In their heads, this was the Becky Lynch equivalent of strutting down the ring, fingers up, Stone Cold Stunner. I think that's what they were convinced in their head. This is the kind of equivalent.
Actually, it came across as fucking WrestleMania 9, Hulk Hogan coming down to beat Yokozuna in fucking 6 seconds after he fucking just beat Bret Hart, which pissed me off then, and this pisses me off now.
And a lot of people have even they've even referenced the whole Brock Lesnar Kofi Kingston thing for how insulting this is. And I don't want to try and bring race into it, but it's funny that because again, it's other connections people are making online that they've done it to all right, we've got a black champion and we've got a black women's champion, and they've done it to both of them, which again you could argue is somewhat insulting. But again, doing good things with Bobby Lashley versus Goldberg, so you can't necessarily argue that fully. But it's just fucking I never understand this sort of booking, because that was how much did that derail Kofi? He wasn't having a particularly great title run. But to have Brock Lesnar just make him an absolute fucking fool in a matter of seconds was insane to do to your champion.
Yeah.
Didn't even give him any offense before that happens. Crazy.
I know.
It'll never be a good move, that. Never be a good move.
No, not at all. So anyone who loved this, basically, you're stupid. I don't like you.
No one loved it. It's just some people it's storytelling. You got to give them a chance to tell the story. Nope, not giving them a chance to tell a story. That was stupid.
Yeah. There's no story to tell. It was literally, we wanted to deliver on some surprises we said were going to happen. So what's more surprising than someone coming back and winning in 3 seconds? Yeah, good point. So the next one to talk about, the main event. No, it wasn't the main event. The men's. What would you even call it?
The main event.
Yeah, the men's WWE. What is it even called? The WWE title.
I think it's the WWE title.
Yeah. That just goes to show we don't even know what the name of the fucking flagship belt is, right?
The world. The undisputed still technically, maybe.
I think it's just the WWE title, maybe. But yeah, so Goldberg versus Lashley, and the winner is Father Time. So the premise of this whole thing, right, is Goldberg's old, and we hit him in his knee, and he can't walk now because he's old. He probably needs a knee replacement. So we're just going to call the match off. So yeah, really.
I mean, to be fair though, that might not have been that could be genuine. Have we established whether that's actually happened?
I mean, yeah, maybe. But yeah, there's a lot of things wrong with this. The match went on too long. It asked too much of Goldberg. Ended up completely exposing him. He was asked to do way too much selling, to do way too much.
I was really surprised they wanted it to go as long as they did. Goldberg has not been known at all for having long matches, and he was totally fucking blown out in the match he had with Drew McIntyre. And I dare say this one ran longer. Yeah, I'm quite surprised he tried to book it this way.
He looked absolutely fucked, to be fair. But yeah, the biggest gripe I've got with it is it didn't achieve anything. Like, what did this do? Because it didn't make Lashley look strong. At this point, he was just beating up an old man who can't walk, right?
But you see, this is the thing. Like, this is the problem I've had with the Goldberg booking from the off, because Goldberg, it had impact when he previously like took on Brock Lesnar and won and stuff like that, right? When the last time we saw him, he got beaten by Drew McIntyre, a man who Bobby Lashley dealt with quite decisively. Like, what impact does it have for him to turn back up and go, "You're next"? It's like, you couldn't even beat the last fella. Don't fucking talk to me about next.
Yeah.
Do you know, it never made any sense to me, this. But
no. But I think
here we are.
Like, obviously the finish being the fact that, you know, Lashley couldn't even get like a decisive victory over him. It was the match had to be called off, right? So it literally achieved nothing, right? And the icing on the fucking top of the whole cake is he's beating up Goldberg after the match is called off, and his 15-year-old son jumps into the ring, and Bobby Lashley nearly kills him. And MVP's like, he didn't know who that was. It could have been anybody. He was just defending himself. And it's like, right.
I love it.
Okay, you know what I mean?
Why
Like,
did he pull out a gun? It's just no, just kidding.
yeah, like he says, fucking puts him in the headlock, and he's like passes out in a matter of seconds, and then
I fucking called it. I know he's only 15, but I fucking called it.
He's a kid.
Goldberg's he's getting his son into the business. This is what all this shit's about. He may be 15 now, but he's gonna be like, how old's Dominic?
Well,
how old do you have to be a wrestler? He's gonna be 18 soon enough. Like, honestly, I feel like they're getting him ready to be in the performance center, aren't they? Like, Goldberg's son. Like, why would you get involved in some in-ring action?
Yeah, don't know.
I think, honestly, like, I don't know, it's only because he's young, so it's not like a proper risk, but when you consider like how averse WWE are to taking risks, letting a minor be involved in a spot is surprising, to say the least.
That is true. But yeah, this whole match, this whole finish, everything about it just reeked to me of, well, we want Goldberg there for Saudi.
Yeah.
Because obviously they've announced Crown Jewel is going to take place again in like October or September or whenever it is. So it's like, well, if we have it, you know, quite...
And by all accounts, Goldberg's confirmed he's got 2 more matches left on his current deal as well.
There you go. And it wouldn't surprise me if that was excluding the Saudi stuff, because they just get a massive payday for that anyway.
Well, that's the thing. That could be like a separate deal. I don't know.
Yeah.
So let's face it, it doesn't really matter how many matches he's got left. If they want him for stuff and he's willing to take the money, then they're booking for more stuff.
Yeah.
The bottom line of it, really.
Exactly. So yeah, all in all, I thought this was atrocious, really.
Yeah, like you say, it would have made more sense to give Lashley an actual win. I never really looked at it that way. I was just like, why was it ever even a thing? But you make a good point. They didn't even give him a decisive enough win for you to go, well, there you go, Lashley's proved his dominance in that way.
No, and it cheapens Lashley even more, because Drew McIntyre needed a couple of minutes to fucking absolutely batter him. He could barely walk or any talk after it. And it's like, in this match, it went on for ages. MVP had to get involved, hitting him with the bloody cane and everything, and Lashley still didn't pick up a fucking victory over him. And, not a proper one anyway. And it was like, well, damn, it just made Drew McIntyre look 10 times better than Lashley.
I know, yeah. I mean, was Goldberg having a bad day when he faced Drew? What's going on?
Yeah. So yeah, I was just really disappointed by it, to be honest. I'd be surprised if anybody watching it
I don't know if I was
good.
disappointed, because I was never going into it with any hope, but
yeah, that's true. That's true. But I mean, harsh words potentially, but I would have been happier if Goldberg just beat Lashley in like 2 moves.
Well, you know me, Carl. I can't honestly say that I'd have been happy with that.
Well, yeah, like, you know, basically, if what happened in the Becky Lynch match would have happened here, but with Goldberg, that would have bothered me less than the finish of this one and the finish of Becky and Bianca. But yeah, that's just me.
Madness.
And
that madness
was just SummerSlam. So what would you say? Oh, obviously we've only captured the main highlights, the main no-shites.
We have. Do you know what? I'm going to try and be as fair as I can to this. And I'm going to give it, and this is me being fair, I'm going to give it 2.5.
Okay.
Because the matches I was excited for, I feel they actually paid off. But there was a lot of stuff that I didn't give a shit about that was shocking. So, and I almost wanted to pull it even further down because of the whole Becky Lynch fiasco. But I'll be fair. And I think like they were clambering to try and make moments rather than actual decent matches. But I'm going to give it a middle of the road, and the 2.5 purely comes from the two matches that I really did enjoy, being Rollins and Edge and Cena and Roman. So they're the reasons that I'm giving it 2.5.
Yeah, I'll have to agree with you. I think obviously the Edge Rollins match was fantastic. Cena versus Reigns was fine. Then Lesnar was pretty good. There were some other things on there which were okay as well, like Damian Priest, the new US champion, beating Sheamus, RK Bro being the new tag team champions. Stuff which I was like, oh yeah, that's good, but not good enough to be like, oh, that's a highlight. It was just stuff that happened. I thought Drew McIntyre and Jinder was poor. It just felt like it didn't need to be on there. I think for a 10 match card,
for a match that could have been built up as like a really decent feud between the two of them, it was such a nothing match to me, the Drew McIntyre and Jinder one.
Yeah, and they're leaning way too far into this whole sword thing. Like he got jumped after the match, and he basically fended them off with the sword and was legitimately trying to swing for them by all accounts. It's like, what? So you would you'd decapitate somebody, really? Like, come on.
This is the funny thing. It's like, I don't think we'll ever expect a scenario where Raw starts with him being fucking arrested for like murdering people.
I would love that. I would just fucking
go with it.
Yeah.
Turns out he ran him through with a sword.
Yeah.
Wow.
I stand here holding. No, this isn't what the Fiend used to hold. Yeah.
All just sat there like, wow, Drew McIntyre killed a guy.
Yeah, fuck it. But yeah, I don't know. All in all, for 10 matches on that card, which is a sizable match card, there was probably only about, at most, 4 matches, which were like, yeah, okay.
It's just funny, isn't it? Like, and this is no offense to Drew, but it's funny how important people are over titles. Because we don't really get to see much of the IC title. Correct me if I'm wrong, Carl, because again, it's another one that I appear to have gapped. But the US title, no, we had the US title. That was another good match.
Yeah,
that was another good match that it probably didn't really make a highlight, but I was actually pleased with the result. Damian Priest won it. Pleased with that, right? But like when we're putting matches on that don't really matter, and we can't give our other championships any real attention, it's shocking.
Yeah, no, it's not good. And obviously,
and I know we've got belts coming out of our ass at this point.
Well,
WWE, do you know what I mean? Like, but even so.
Well, obviously, notable, not bad enough to get an O'Shea. I think we all saw it coming, but obviously Charlotte is the new Raw Women's Champion as well. I don't know what this is going to mean now for Nikki ASH, I'm hoping it's not.
I think she's done. I think that they've done it. That's done now.
Yeah, I'm honestly worried for her, to be fair. So, yeah, hopefully that isn't going to come to fruition.
I think she was only ever involved now, sadly. For me, I think they only put her in the mix so that it wouldn't be like this Rhea Ripley Charlotte stuff's getting boring. It's the only reason.
Yeah. I think, especially if some of the fans are going to boo her and stuff like that, then, yeah, it's not good, is it? So, we'll see.
And people might have been more on board with Becky versus Charlotte than what Becky's done. So I really don't get. Honestly, I would have made more sense Becky coming back for her title. I really don't get what they've done there.
Yeah, it would have done, but I probably would have been even more annoyed at the fact that it was like not Becky and Charlotte again. So,
but you'd have been annoyed. But that would mean the other scenario never happened. I would be like, if someone said to me, you can either have Bianca Belair losing in 23 seconds to Becky Lynch out of fucking nowhere, or you can have Becky Lynch coming back and staking her claim to a title match against Charlotte, I would probably pick the Charlotte one. But I'd have to know about both options.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I picked, to be fair. But, yeah. Interesting show. Obviously, interesting that they said that it was going to be full of surprises, and it seemed like they had to use Becky in as a surprise sort of by circumstance rather than a plan. So the whole full of surprises was going to be Brock. It makes you wonder
whether she was always going to be a surprise, but she wasn't going to do what she did. Do you know what I mean? Like,
come out
she was
at the
obviously
end.
There in the building, like, I don't know. Yeah, like come out at the end and maybe stake a claim.
Yeah.
But instead they've had to do something else. Don't know.
Who knows? But still, Stephanie built it all up, didn't she? In her little press interviews and stuff, full of surprises. Proper Tony Khan the shit out of it, didn't she? What she did.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, it's unique for Tony Khan to actually deliver on one of his fucking press conferences. So. And he did. I'm not being negative. He totally delivered with this Rampage. But we've seen him not deliver before now.
Yeah, in your opinion,
Whatever.
you work yourself into a shoot, you jabroni, Mark. As Hulk Hogan would say.
You shot yourself to work. You can't. I'm just kidding.
But yeah,
No, he that was an over delivery. I'll argue. I'll die on this hill, Carl. That was an over delivery for what we got.
I don't know. But anyway, so yeah, that was obviously SummerSlam. If you took part in our A versus K prediction series, many thanks for that. Obviously, I think we had 109, which is the biggest one we've had yet. So
Carl's fearing for his top spot. I lost mine a long time ago.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think we compared what we actually said. To be fair, Anthony, I don't know. Let me see whether we've got time. Fuck it, we've got time.
Have you got my notes? Because I don't know if I can remember my responses anymore.
Yeah, I've got a massive. So if you've ever submitted anything to us, it lives on a spreadsheet somewhere in the cloud.
And it's an upcoming T-shirt and merch opportunity for us. But Carl loves spreadsheets.
I do. He's not wrong. So let's see. See, the spreadsheet is that big. It's taking a fucking age. So you had the Mysterios to win. I had the Usos. Usos won. We both had RK Bro to win. We both had Priest to win. You had Jinder. I had Drew. Drew won. Both had Alexa. We both had Rollins and Edge won. We both had Charlotte and Charlotte won. I had Belair. You had Banks. Doesn't matter because it was all null and void. We both had Lashley and we both had Reigns, and they were both correct. So, yeah, only literally one or two differences there. But
I am quite clearly in the overall scores. I'm no longer your rival.
I mean, you're not as far off as you think, to be honest. So you've got 35, I've got 40. So it's only 5 points in it. Instagram as a whole's got 37, so they're 3 points behind. So I'm top spot with 40. Keep It Real 365 just behind with 38. Wrestling JJ24, Wrestling Stomp also on 37. So yeah, couple hot on the heels. So it's more important than ever that I get them right.
The pressure is on, Carl. I can only climb my way back. I'm starting lower, so I'm like anything I get's like an achievement. If I stay where I am, that's good. Anything else is a plus. You have to keep yourself at the top of this hill.
It's all mine to lose, is what we're saying. But yeah, I've had one or two shockers. Like luckily, the last couple I've done all right in, but we'll see. I mean, what is next? All Out. So
yes,
All Out will be the next one we do. Only a couple of weeks away. So yeah, interested to see. We'll find out soon enough. And a typical will blow up in my face because I'm known as the AEW guy. At least when we used to do this. This Week in Wrestling in a slightly different format. So
exactly. It's interesting, actually. I've been wondering about this, not to give you more work for your spreadsheet, but I noticed that we get some people like who respond to the WWE stuff but don't participate in the AEW stuff because they don't watch it. So it'll be interesting to see how a overall WWE board would look.
It's a good shout, that actually. I hadn't really considered that. It should be relatively straightforward. I've got all the tabs of everyone we've done, so it should be a case of just summing up for the relative respective ones.
Yeah. I just think it may be a fair adjustment for some who won't participate at all in All Out and then lose on the overall,
I like that. It's a good idea. And more work for me, you bastard. Of
course. All work for you.
That's it. But yeah, thank you for obviously taking part in that. Thanks for listening or watching this SummerSlam results and reactions. And yeah, keep on keeping on. Obviously, follow us on all the places. Subscribe and click that notification bell.
So if you don't click that notification bell, then you won't get notifications when we put up new videos eventually.
Exactly. And imagine what type of world that would be. Much like the one you have now. When So if you're enjoying the world today, then don't do it. But yeah, no. Yeah, all.
If you enjoy the world today, it's like, well, COVID's just fucking the entire world up right now. So
why don't you try?
I
mean, it's a reach, but you never know, right? You got to try it. But yeah, so another fun-filled week, Anthony. One that I managed to make it through. I'm very tired. I'd like to say it's because I was able to stay up for SummerSlam and watch it live. I couldn't even make it past the pre-show. That's what a lightweight I am. And I've got a 3.5-year-old, and he was up like super early this morning. So we managed to make it through. We did it.
I mean, super early, for anyone who's curious, super early is just like regular early, but they were both wearing capes.
It's true. It's true. But yeah, so that is A2theK for this week. We'll be back next week with some more wacky, zany fun for all.
Wacky zany. We're going to talk about Doink.
Don't give away.
I might have to deliver on that now.
I know, yeah. That's it. Segment 3, all done by Anthony about Doink.
All Doink.
So yeah, we will catch you on the flip side. Take it easy.
See you all next week.
You're watching or listening
to A2theK.
The A2theK.
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 These guys are awesome. Check it out.
Check it out. Change your life. You'll be thanking me later.